This video is to describe and demonstrate the Akai GX-635D open reel tape deck, which I'm selling on eBay. It's in fantastic condition, perfect working order. I will describe what I've done to the deck in terms of repair and servicing to get it into this condition, and I'll give you a full demonstration of all of the features. So first of all, a quick note on the setup for the recording of this video. So the output of the tape deck and the microphone I'm speaking to you through go into a mixer, and then from the mixer direct into the camera, so hopefully you should get a good quality recording of what the tape deck really sounds like, which is great. So I mentioned that it plays both directions by having 6 heads. The heads themselves, the playback and record heads at least, are Akai's GX glass and crystal ferrite heads that are very durable, great quality. They're in absolutely mint condition. I'll try and photograph them well for the eBay advert. It's obvious though from the rest of the tape path that the deck's had very little use. There's no wear that I can see on any of the metal parts in the tape path. Okay, so first thing I'm going to talk about is the auto reverse function, and I'll demonstrate that. So it has 3 modes. This switch here, the reverse selector. In the left-hand mode, it doesn't do any auto reversing. In the middle position, it reverses once, then stops, and then finally it will reverse continuously in the right-hand position. So the way that the tape or the deck knows when to change direction is by using these little things. They are bits of tape with foil on them, and you stick those to the back of the recording tape, the non-recording side, at the point where you want the deck to reverse. So you could put those at either end of the recording tape, or if you want to, you could put them at multiple positions, and then using that switch, get the deck to automatically switch between forward and reverse whenever it encounters one of those little sensing tapes. I bought those on eBay for a few quid, and they work absolutely fine. So what I'm going to do is demonstrate the tape playing in reverse mode. It's then going to very soon, in 20 seconds according to the tape counter, it'll hit one of the sensing strips. In fact, it's sensed just here on this tension arm. There's a little sensor there and the other side. I think the foil just makes a circuit, and that tells the deck to change direction. You'll notice there's a delay between changing direction. That's quite normal. It's because there's a single capstan, which is direct drive, on this deck. So that's currently going in the forward position. I can tell that because the green light on the standby indicator is in the forward position. So for me to play it in reverse, what's actually going to happen is the capstan's going to have to slow down, stop, then spin up in reverse direction until it gets to full speed, and then playback will start. And similarly, when it hits the sensor tape, it's got to slow down, change direction, spin up again. So let's do the demo. So there's the delay.
Day of winter and the clouds were getting dense. I met a
So
girl
playing in
with
reverse
a heart.
at the
She
moment.
asked me for 10 pence. She said she had to make a phone call to get hold of a man. When she asked me what I did.
Okay, while we're playing something, let me just quickly demonstrate the pitch control. That's maximum. Normal. And that's the minimum speed. So the deck has 2 speeds. We've just been using 7.5 inches per second. It also has 3 3/4 inches per second. I'll give you a demonstration now of recording in both directions and at both speeds, and you'll be able to hear the sound of the source music going in, which is going into the line in, which is an output from a Sonos. And because it's a 3-head type deck, okay, it's a 6-head deck, but 3 heads in each direction, it'll record with the record head, and then a fraction of a second later you can listen to that recording being played back through the playhead, so you can hear exactly what the recording sounds like. So I'll demonstrate that now. Okay, so first of all, let me just quickly describe the monitor switch. I'm sure any of you who know anything about three-head tape decks are familiar with this, but just in case. So in this position, source, we're hearing what's coming out the Sonos. In the tape position, we're hearing what's being played back from the tape. So if I now record, we're listening to what's just been recorded on the tape. And so if I flick the monitor switch, you'll hear a slight delay between the source, music coming into the deck, and the playback music a fraction of a second later as the tape passes the playback head. So listening to the tape at the moment. There's the source, the tape. The level's a little bit low, let me just increase that slightly. It's quite good quality tape this, so I can happily put a little bit above 0 dB for it. So we're on the tape at the moment. There's the source, the tape. Okay, let me show you recording in the reverse direction. So the delay while the capstan spins up. So listen to the tape. There's the source. There's the tape. Okay, let's show you 3 3/4 inches a second now. Okay, so this is the source. There's the recording. The source. The recording. I'll just show you that in the forward direction as well. It's the tape. There's the source. The tape. Okay, I'll quickly show you the transport, high-speed transport. So let's fast forward and rewind. On these logic control decks, it's quite safe to go straight from fast forwarding to rewinding without pressing stop in between. It's absolutely fine. Okay, so I'll just describe the rest of the controls now. Not sure if I mentioned the tape counter. It's a real-time tape counter, so the first 2 digits are minutes, the second 2 are seconds. That's accurate only at 7.5 inches a second, otherwise it's half speed or half time, whatever way you want to look at it, at 3 3/4. So we've got the power switch, the reverse selector we discussed. The reel size is important to get right. There's this deck supports 2 sizes of reel, 7-inch and 10.5, which is what's loaded at the moment. If you don't get that right, then the tape tension won't be right. The next switch is the record mute switch. It's quite a useful feature. So I'm recording at the moment and we're listening to the playback recording. If I hit record mute, doesn't matter what level the inputs are, it just records silence on the tape. So it's quite useful if you're recording from a record or something and you don't want the bump of the stylus hitting the record to come out on the recording. And then you press it again and it starts recording the sound again. And it does that really cleanly. There's no pop or bump or anything like that, so it gives you quite a nice sounding recording. Okay, what else? Just while we're up around this area, these tension arms make it very easy to load the deck. They just lock in this position here. And it's very easy to just run the tape down in the gap. And then the gap between the capstan and the pinch wheel, up the other side and onto the take-up reel. It's one of the easiest decks to load that I've ever used. And then once you've loaded, you just flick them like so, and you're ready to go. Finally, towards the bottom, so there's an output control here of, first of all, 1/4 inch stereo headphone output and a level control for both left and right channels at the same time. that output level control affects both the headphones and the line out from the back. Then we've got the tape monitor switch, then the timer start. So the timer start switch lets you use an external AC timer, the kind of thing you might use to switch off and on a desk lamp or something like that when you go on holiday, to get the tape deck to automatically go into either playback or record mode. I'll describe that and give you a quick demo in a moment. I'll just go through the rest of the controls first. So then we've got the speed switch, 3 3/4 inch for slow, 7.5 for fast. Then there's a tape type switch, wide range or low noise. That affects the BIOS frequency, and you need to set that right to get the best sound from your tape. Okay, then record mode switches. So there's one for left, one for right channel, and corresponding LEDs. They're in the on position at the moment, so the LEDs are on. It's quite hard to see because I've got some fairly bright lights shining at the deck, but they are on. If those are in the off position for either or both channels, then it won't record on those channels. So even if you hold down record and press one of the direction buttons, it just doesn't record. It in fact goes into playback mode, so it stops you, or helps stop you accidentally erase over recordings that you don't want to erase over. It's also used in conjunction with the timer start switch, which I'll describe shortly. And then we've got the microphone level controls. So the knob at the front is left channel, the one behind it is the right. And then there's, next to that, 1/4 inch mono microphone inputs, one for left, one for right, for unbalanced microphones. Then you've got the line level controls, input controls. Again, left at the front, right at the back. You can record from both microphone and line at the same time and adjust the respective levels of the inputs independently of each other, if you wish. Inputs and outputs on the back, there's RCA, phono, line in, line out, stereo. There's also a 5-pin DIN. And yeah, I think that's about it. So I'll just quickly show you the timer start. So if the record mode switches are on, then when you turn power onto the deck, it'll immediately start recording in the forward direction. If they're off, it'll immediately start playback in the forward direction. So I'll just quickly demonstrate that. This timer start switch, by the way, to stop you accidentally switching it, you pull it out to the left, release, that's off. Pull it out to the right, release, that's on. So I'm going to simulate a timer switch by just turning the power onto the deck, and it'll, after a short delay, go straight into record in the forward position. There we go. Okay, so quickly then a note on repairs and servicing. So when I bought the deck, it belonged to the mother of the guy I bought it from, been stored for a while. There was no audio on the right channel at all. So I took it to Vintage Tech near Guildford, and they specialise in open reel decks, and they identified the fault to be some dead transistors. They replaced 6 transistors to get both channels working. I've subsequently replaced another 8, so all of the faulty transistors, which are a particular model that tends to fail on Akais of this kind of age, they've all been replaced. So I've replaced the 2 SC458s with Toshiba 2 SC2240 low noise transistors, which are a higher quality or a better performing transistor than the original ones, and you know, the audio side of this deck sounds absolutely fantastic. Vintage Tech also serviced the deck for me. They also replaced a rectifier that wasn't working correctly, and a couple of capacitors that were cracked. The deck's in great order. It's had very light use. Cosmetically, the brushed silver type finish, it's got no scratches. The wooden sides haven't got any dents or bits missing. The brush steel is a little bit kind of milky looking in a few places. I don't think it's too bad. You may be able to clean it better than I was able to. But, you know, other than that, cosmetically, I think it looks almost mint. So any questions, send me a message via eBay, and I'll do my best to answer them. And thanks very much for watching.